Blah. Mephisto Waltz was never actually performed live by the Misfits. It was brought to rehearsals and it was sort of vetoed by the rest of the band, particularly Jerry, at least from what I understand. And the song kind of languished. It was just nothing was done with it. Maybe it was rehearsed. It was never performed live. It was never recorded by the Misfits. When Glenn and Erie, I believe in 1985, going into, or maybe it was 1986, somewhere around that area, middle of the Samhain period, Glenn and Erie went in and re-recorded or recorded over a bunch of Misfit songs because Glenn was very unhappy with what had happened with Walk Among Us and Slash. And he basically had this idea, I'm going to do Walk Among Us 2. I'm going to basically what Taylor Swift did, at least something similar, right? I'm going to do Walk Among Us 2, and then we'll put it out ourselves because I guess, we don't have the rights to the original Walk Among Us. We can't do nothing with that. So a bunch of songs that would have been on Walk Among Us, that were on Walk Among Us and would have been on Walk Among Us 2, get re-recorded. One song, however, is added to the recording session that just features Glenn and Erie. So that's what the interesting thing about this is that, Erie is not considered. It's funny how a guy like Brain Damage could be considered an official member of the Misfits despite playing 2 live songs on their last live show in Greystone Hall in 10/29/83. But a guy like Erie Vaughn, who literally plays on a bunch of studio tracks, would not be canon. It's not comic book canon to consider Erie the drummer of the Misfits, right? Isn't that weird? Drummer and bass player, because Erie played drums and bass on Mephisto Waltz. He played on a bunch of stuff. He played on a bunch of stuff on Collection 2, right? Now, what's interesting is when you listen to Mephisto Waltz, and something I've posed to a lot of people, does Mephisto Waltz might have been written initially as a Misfits song, but it really feels more like a Samhain song, right? To me, it does. The vocals, the way Glenn's vocal approach sounds more like a Samhain song. You know what I mean? So these guys go in and recorded the song, and it sounds to me, when you listen, if you go put it on right now, go pause this show. Actually, don't wait until the show is over, and then go listen to Mephisto Waltz and think about it. Think about it as a Samhain song, and it'll make more sense to. At least it makes more sense to me. It doesn't feel like a Misfit song at all. So it's like it's this weird track. It's on a Misfits recording session, or it's on a Misfits record, or a Misfits collection, a Misfits compilation. So Mephisto Waltz ends up being this weird anomaly. That was the word I was trying to say before. It's a friggin' anomaly, man. Like, it's not this and it's not that. And the lyrics have way more Samhain vibes. I don't know when he wrote this song. I guess he would have written the song somewhere around 80 or 81, maybe even earlier, because some of those songs that were recorded for Walk Among Us were originally going to be for 12 Hits from Hell, right? So here are the lyrics. Waltz. First of all, what is Mephisto and what is a waltz? That's like, these are some of the things that we have to look up to understand what Glenn is singing about. Mephisto is an evil spirit to whom Faust, in the German legend, sold his soul. It's another, I always think of Mephisto or Mephistopheles as Mephisto is another word for Mephistopheles. I always feel like it's just another name for a devil, right? Basically. And what is a waltz? Well, waltz is a type of dance, but specifically, a waltz is a dance in triple time performed by a couple who, as a pair, turn rhythmically around and around as they progress around the dance floor. I'm going to demonstrate what a waltz is for anybody who's not familiar. Ready? You're gonna see me dance in the basement. Hold on. Ready? This is a waltz. Da, 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 da. Oh, let me turn the splat on. Some nice palm tree action. That is a waltz. So this is the waltz of the devil. This is the waltz of Mephisto, baby. That's what it is. It's a dance. So it's a devil dance. Another way of saying Mephisto Waltz is devil dance. And you want to know what's funny? You know how Glenn Danzig remade Misfits songs as Samhain songs, like All Hell Breaks Loose turns into All Hell, Horror Business turns into Horror Biz. Imagine somewhere down the line, Glenn decides to remake Mephisto Waltz Wall and Danzig. And instead of calling it Mephisto Waltz, he just calls it Devil Dance. And it's something like, whoa, 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 walls into the darkest feeling, walls without the blink I go, walls to the devil's ballet, walls to the Mephisto. Like I could totally imagine Glenn, like, you know, like kind of like Tired of Being Alive, like I just imagine something like that for Mephisto Waltz being remade as Devil Dance. So instead of Mephisto Waltz, he calls it Devil Dance. Devil Dance. I don't know. The song itself, it feels kind of like a throwaway nothing song, like a little an alliteration. Waltz the pagan master, waltz his evil shines, his evil shines, waltz to the devil's depot, waltz, it's going to be so great. I don't know if it's that last one doesn't sound quite right, but so waltz the pagan, so there's a pagan master. We're going to dance, the pagan master, dance, his evil shines. So we're worshiping a devil. And then there's the devil's depot, you know, kind of like you have the Home Depot, but then next to it is the devil's depot. And that's where you buy pitchforks and black cauldrons and all sorts of things. You go down to the devil's depot to get some stuff, you know? Yeah, exactly, Biz. Dancing with the devil. I was expecting you to waltz with the palm tree. I promise next time I will. Next time I shall make that happen. I will do that. I will make sure to do that. Waltz. So it's talking about like dancing, like exalting the devil. We're basically dancing in jubilation. It's like a dancing, a waltzing in jubilation to the devil, right? Waltz, he says, into the darkest feeling. Like, think about that. What is the darkest feeling? Waltz into the darkest feeling. What's the darkest feeling you've ever felt? And then imagine waltzing into it. That's what Glenn is suggesting. Waltz without a blink I go. I don't know if that's a correct lyric. Waltz to the devil's ballet. Waltz to the Mephisto. And then, of course, we get a bunch of woes. Whoa, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And like, what is a woe? Like, Glenn uses woes often in his songs. What is a woe? What is a woe all about? Like, you know, obviously, Glenn is borrowing. He's borrowing from the, you know, the tradition of all the singers from the 60s and the 50s, the and doo-wop and whatever, it's like whoa, whoa, whoa. So like, what is an actual woe? What is the purpose of a woe? It's a feeling of jubilation, right? It's a feeling of like, it's like an exalted feeling of expression. Whoa, 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 whoa. And it's amazing how Glenn then they twist it, you know, like he twists that into what it is for like Misfits and Samhain and not really Danzig. Continuing on, Waltz the Devil's Dance. So it's kind of funny. So he's talking about the Devil's Ballet, the Devil's Dance, the Devil's Depot. I mean, the lyrics are kind of goofy. And in the twilight gray, some of them are, I like that. In the twilight gray. So a twilight gray, twilight is sunset. So a gray sunset. Darkness grows much faster. Waltz, darkness grows much faster. Waltz, it's going to be so great. So it's going to be so great to dance with the devil. That's what it is. You know who likes this song? Jack Napier, Jack Nicholson in Tim Burton's Batman. The song that plays when you dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, something that he asked to all of his victims, is the Mephisto Waltz, obviously. And somebody needs to make like a super edit of, maybe I'll do it actually, of Jack Nicholson in Batman when he says, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" And then it just turns into the Mephisto Waltz and him dancing around. Biz is asking what movie. I'm talking about Tim Burton's Batman, Biz. Yes, he is vocalizing "Whoa." Have I watched the movie? I've not seen the movie Mephisto Waltz. Oh, is that what you mean? You're asking me about the movie Mephisto Waltz, not Tim Burton's Batman. No, I've not seen Mephisto Waltz. I am familiar with the story of Faust, though. It's interesting. I wonder how much if Faust is interested in. I mean, sorry. I wonder if Glenn is interested in Faust when writing this and when writing Mephisto Waltz. This is an example of a song where there's not like, there are some Danzig songs where like we were sitting there, we were like, go check out. We did Comeback. We sat there and we talked about Comeback, like me, Robbie Bloodshed, and Russell Casualty, and like we went deep on that. We went deep on that. I went super deep on Hybrid Moments, super friggin' deep on Hybrid Moments. In fact, came up with some. Turns out Hybrid Moments is just about pig turtles, but it's literally about hybrid creatures. But I really like the interpretations that we came up with for Hybrid Moments. In the case of Mephisto Waltz, I think it's just dancing with the devil. That's it. And dancing with the devil can be really sticky. And you know what else is sticky? Our sponsor, Riot Stickers. Biz says, didn't know there was a movie with the title. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a movie. every song Glenn Danzig ever wrote has a friggin' movie title to it. Jack Napier video would be cool. Yeah, I feel like that's just dying to be made. The synopsis of Mephisto Waltz: Miles Clarkson, a classical piano player on the rise, befriends Duncan Mowbray Ellie, a famous player himself, who is at death's door. Unknown to Clarkson, Ellie is a Satanist who arranges to have their souls switch places at his death so that he could be young again and continue to play the piano. That sounds like a great premise. I'll definitely check that out. I wonder if it's on Canopy. Glenn is probably referencing the movie. He might be. He definitely might be. You might not be wrong.